Hey everyone, today we're going to take a look at growing garlic. This is my third season. First year I grew Nootka Rose, and last year was in Chilean Red. I bought them at High Mowing. It's about $24 for a pound of garlic, of seed garlic that's organic. And it sounds expensive, but for each clove you plant you get a full head of garlic, so you get a pretty good return for your money. And once you start harvesting it, you can just save some of the bulbs and you plant your own garlic the following season, which is what I'm doing this year. These were harvested this past summer, and what you do is you just take the head of garlic and you break it open and you just plant each individual clove. Now to prep the bed, you're going to want to put some fertilizer in there because you're not going to be able to obviously put too much more in once they're planted. So I just use a regular all-purpose, Happy Frog 555 fertilizer. That would be minimum. I think they recommend like a 10-10-10, but I haven't any problems with that. So as you can see here, I've got a nail in here and a nail on the other end, and the string is attached. Then I lay out the tape measure over here and drop a clove in at every 6-inch point, and it wants to be buried in about 2 inches into the ground, and you want the pointy part wants to go up, and you want to put that end in. Now if you're not going to be using a mulch, I use a straw mulch. If you're not going to be using mulch, you have to bury them a little bit deeper, but that's really all there is to it. Just cover it over and put some straw mulch on it, and next spring they will start to sprout. So I'm going to finish putting all the cloves in there and then cover it with mulch. So I'll see you again in about an hour. Okay, that's pretty much about it for planting garlic. It's a 4x8 bed. I've got 2 rows. They're 18 inches apart. I'm zone 4B. Today is October 30th, and this is the normal time of the year for us to plant our garlic. Whoever you buy the garlic from will tell you what's the best planting time for your location. So I am a little short on straw, and I really don't want to buy another bag this late in the season. So what you see in the back there, I'm going to supplement the straw with some just regular leaves as the mulch. And if I have to buy straw, if the leaves don't work, I will do that, but I'm going to give it a shot anyway. So, as I said, it's the end of October. I'll be seeing you again probably around March, so I'll see you in a few months. Well, it's December 12th, and believe it or not, that's the garlic bed underneath there, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because snow is a very good insulator. So, it probably won't melt until March, and that's when I will do the next update. So I'll see you then. Okay, it's April 2nd, and the snow is finally starting to melt. I actually shoveled off this bed a few days ago just to let the sun and the air and the warmth get to the garlic that's trying to sprout. There's, so far there's only one that I see here, this little guy over there. I'm guessing you could see it. And if you use the mulch and you live in snow country, it's probably a good idea to go in there and fluff up the mulch because it's been weighted down. You can see I did the right-hand side already. I got to go in and do the left-hand side. I'm not going to take it off yet. I've still got 2 months to go before my final frost date. But it just allows, like I mentioned, the heat and the air and the warmth to get to the garlic. So I'll do another update probably in a couple of months or so once the garlic has sprouted to 4 or 5 inches tall. So I'll see you then. Today is May 7th, and it's only been about 5 weeks since I did the last update where I shoveled the snow off the bed. But you can see how quickly the garlic grows once the sun and the air and the warmth gets to the roots. So I will probably do the final update in about 6 or 7 weeks when I harvest the garlic, and I'll see you then. Okay, it's July 8th, and the garlic is ready to be harvested. It's actually been ready for a few days, but it's been raining so hard and I haven't been able to get out here. So you'll know that it's ready to be harvested once it starts. You can just look at it. It's kind of like sagging. Just bear with me while I step over the fence for a minute. Had a big problem with rabbits this year, so I had to put up the electric fence. But again, a lot of the garlic growers say, when 30% of the foliage starts to die back, that's a good indication. But again, after looking at it for so many months, you'll just kind of like know. It just kind of like leans over, sags, whatnot. So now for when it comes to digging it up, I'm just going to be using a regular plain old trowel. But it's very important that you not damage the roots of the bulbs, because they will not store well. So for me, it's not bad. I have very soft sandy soil, and I just kind of go in there, dig around. I'll take the trowel and just loosen the soil around it. But I can pretty much do this just by hand, which is the way I normally do it. You just reach down in there until you can grab a hold of the entire head of garlic and bring it up. Take some of the dirt off, and you got a very nice head of garlic there. Remember, that's just from one clove. Remember when we planted it was just one clove, and then you get a full entire head of garlic. So I'm gonna go through, and I'm gonna be and I'll dig up all the rest of the bulbs, and I will be back again shortly. Okay, all the garlic's been dug up. Out of the 26 cloves, I got 26 nice sized heads. There's a couple of smaller ones, so most of them came out pretty well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to let them sit out in the sun for a little while. And then if it gets too hot, I'll move them into the garage. What I'll do then tomorrow, once they're a little drier, is I'm going to take them and I'll cut some of these, get a little more dirt off and take some of these roots and cut them shorter. So, and then I'll show you where I store it for a few months before I bring it into the basement. So I'll see you again tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to do the final segment of this video in the garage, because I think it would be more helpful if you could see the rack that I made instead of trying to envision it from my description. So I'll get to the rack in a minute, but this is the garlic after it's been cleaned. And I don't go totally crazy getting every little bit of dirt off of it. I just get most of it, because when it gets stored, I'm going to be taking the outside paper off anyway, and that should get any of the dirt that's left in there off of the bulb. So the roots get trimmed to about, I don't know, about 3/4 to 1 inch. And the roots do shrink a little bit, so don't cut them too short. And once the garlic goes into the drying rack, it stays there until the first couple of hard frosts, which for us is end of October, beginning of November. And at that point, some of the garlic will get planted out into the raised beds, as we did at the beginning of this video. And the rest of it, the stalk gets removed, and they get put into these cotton bags that get hung in the basement from the floor joists. And for the rack, I've got 2 hooks for each rack. This is about 1.5 inches across. It hooks onto the 2x4, and I've got like a carabiner that goes on there, and that hooks onto the rack. And there's a lot of different ways you can make a garlic drying rack. I'm very short on space, so I need to put mine up in the air and make it vertical. But just do a quick search and you might find something that works better for you. So my rack is made, I'll show it to you now. My rack is made out of snow fencing and 1x3s. I do have 2 of them, but since we only planted 26 cloves, I'm only going to need 1. And this is where it goes. Up on 2x4s, you can see those 2 hooks I just showed you hook right onto the 2x4s. And the garlic is very gently threaded through the snow fencing. And here are the stalks. It just sits there and dries over the next few months. When you put it in there, stagger it, you'll see garlic here, and this is empty, garlic there, and either side of it is empty. That will give you maximum airflow. So I can't really think of too much else. We covered quite a bit in this video, and I hope it gave you an idea of how to get your garlic started in your own garden. And as always, thanks for watching.